Okay, welcome on everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how to do the no contact rule when you still work with your ex. And this is incredibly difficult. I for sure have tripped up so many times and continue to evolve myself on my boundaries in relationships when there's transition. Uh, but if you have tried to end your relationship with your ex multiple times and keep going back, then this video is going to be very beneficial because in order for you to stay consistent with the breakup and no longer engage in a romantic relationship, then we need to make sure that our boundaries are super clear. And if you are wanting to do the no contact rule, yet at the same time in close proximity with your partner, then we want to learn what's the difference. If we are still in proximity with them, are we still making contact, and how does that look like? How can we actually execute the no contact rule when still in some sort of contact with them? So before we dive in, my name is Kate London. I help women that are in affair relationships with someone that is married or has a spouse to end that relationship or end the secrecy so that they no longer have to hide, and so that they can really step into their authentic selves. Secrecy is painful, and ultimately, if we're hiding, we can't truly flourish. So if you are in an affair relationship, then for sure check out my whole channel. If you're not and you're just trying to break off this relationship with your got a little bug rolling down my face. If you're just trying to end the relationship with your coworker or boss who you have been in a relationship for some time, then regardless, this video is going to be super beneficial. So quickly before I go into it, the no contact for me has been quite a journey, and I too have had to learn so much on this journey of cleaning up my boundaries in order to execute a breakup in a beautiful way. Breakups, you learn, or relationships in general, you learn and grow so much, and it's not always an easy process, but each experience can gift us so many different learnings. So for me personally, I was in an affair relationship for multiple years, and I tried to end it so many times. He was my boss. I couldn't end it. I tried all sorts of things and really struggled for so long until I did the no contact rule. As my relationships after that became healthier, you don't actually necessarily need to do a no contact rule. When it is a healthy relationship where you both respect each other, it's just more about transitioning the relationship from a romantic one to a friendship or acquaintance where you're not infusing it with intimacy and emotional intimacy. So back to this no contact rule, one of the things that I want to really highlight here is there's a difference between being friendly in the relationship and flirty. In the workplace, friendly and flirty. And what happens is when we're drawing this no contact rule, often we think, okay, well, then I can't look at them. I have to be cold. I have to suddenly have this wall up. And that is not the case at all. It's more of a, am I feeding this relationship in a romantic way, or am I keeping this strictly professional in a business setting? And one of the questions that you can ask yourself is, would I be treating my other coworker that I have no interest in whatsoever in the same way? And if you say yes, then perfect. The boundary is probably pretty clear in a professional sense. But if you say no, then again, ask yourself after that, well, am I inviting the connection to stay alive, the spark to stay alive? It's so natural as humans, we want connection. And when you have been in love with this person and you have a strong connection with them, we don't want it to die. Even if we know deep down that the relationship needs to transition, we fear the closure of that relationship. So there's parts of our subconscious that is going to want to keep it alive by doing things, these extended glances with your coworker, or sorry, these extended glances with your ex. You might still use pet names at times. You might put a hand on them and hold it for longer, which is a little bit more sensual than what you would do with a general touch of someone that is a coworker and a very platonic touch. So I want you to really notice, where am I leaky in this boundary? Where am I blurring the line? The more that you blur it, the more that you're keeping the spark alive, and the more this is what happens is the line of no contact becomes blurry, and then we fall into having a relationship with them again. We fall into like having intimacy with them again because we have kept the spark alive. So again, keep asking yourself, is this feeding the relationship, or is it allowing this relationship to transition? Again, you don't necessarily need to put a wall up in order to treat someone with respect, but also not feed the relationship in a romantic way. Naturally, you may put a wall up because heartbreak hurts. And so it's okay if that naturally happens. However, you can still engage in a relationship that is platonic with this person while not feeding it. So, I would recommend you go to my no contact video on how to actually execute no contact, because there's so many different things that you can do, stopping engagement in social media, uh, not texting them, all of these things. So watch that video if you actually want to execute no contact. But what I want to talk to here is making sure the boundary is super clear and that you're not actually feeding the relationship. The more you're feeding it, the more you're staying engaged in a romantic relationship, even if you're not being intimate, but you're keeping the relationship alive. And for sure, that is something that I had struggled with for a while, is noticing that that boundary was blurred and it is keeping it alive, and then you fall back into it. So if you are really wanting to implement the no contact rule in the workplace, keep asking yourself, is this blurring the boundary? Am I leaking on my boundaries right here? Am I engaging in engaging with my ex in a romantic way, or in a way that I wouldn't actually engage with other employees in? And if it is a yes, making sure that you're keeping it more platonic. You can smile, you can laugh, you can be happy, and you can like engage nicely with this person, but being nice and being flirty, or feeding the relationship, is two very different things. So I hope that helps. Going no contact is incredibly difficult when you did have a really strong bond with the person. It's not an easy process, and I wish you all the best with this transition. Bye for now.